Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to Banner and Backbone's Vet Talk. I am Nick Perro with my good friend Melissa Corrigan, and we're here to talk about some shit today. Yeah.
About yeah.
So, Melissa, I'm going to hand it over to you because we're going to talk about the state or the age of the drone state for a little bit, for about half an hour here. Um, and I'm going to probably cue you up here first. Reintroduce yourself, say hi, all the good things. Um, as people start coming in on the chat, good afternoon, Pat. How are you? Good morning, good day to everyone in the audience. Um, Melissa, you sent me a video last night that disturbed the shit out of me when I saw it, and I want to talk a little bit about it. Um, and what you got to say about this drone state that's coming and actively being built around us, um, and your thoughts on it, especially living near a military base. So, good morning or good afternoon, Melissa. How are you before you get into it? And then we'll tee up and go video friendly and have some fun.
Yes. It's always good to see you again, Nick. And I am doing okay, considering I didn't sleep very well last night with the video that I sent you yesterday. What happened when I got home from work, and the jets that are flying over all night as our local military base seems to be doing a lot of aviation training at night.
Yeah, and that's probably not a good thing. Um,
Not super usual for our side of town. This is not an air base on this side of town out in
Oceana,
That is
something
something
that is
expected.
expected.
But here at
Here
the
at
naval
the naval
station, it's not
station,
as
it's not as
common.
common. Yeah. So I'm going to play the video that you shared with me last night. And hopefully people can see what comes out of this, and you definitely should be able to hear it. But look what's in the sky overhead. Melissa's gonna be pointing at in here in the on this video. She's gonna be zooming in. Those little flashing lights are
Three of them.
three drones from Flock Safety that are flying over your town, and possibly triangulating around a house. Um, can you talk about these and what it coincided with, and some of the events going on in your area that brought these drones into your home and your residency area?
Yes.
Yes.
So
So
Norfolk has
Norfolk
had
has had
the.
I'm getting
An
an
echo. Are you
echo. Are
getting an
you
echo?
getting an echo?
Maybe that's
I'm
just
getting
me.
a little echo. It might.
Okay.
I don't know. Is everyone else hearing things okay? And I'll turn once this video is off too. I'll change out of this page so that maybe there's less yes and echo. Oh, huge echo. It might be the video. Um, and let me pause that. I'll put us back on to our by ourselves without the screen, and we'll see what happens. So hopefully that helps fix it for everybody. But yeah, that was the video of the drones flying. There were three of them. So I'll hand it over to you, Melissa. Talk about all about what's going on there in Norfolk.
So I've been covering the case for flock safety for several months now. I first started writing on it back in April, I believe, but it really started last June when the camera just appeared outside my neighborhood. The only entrance I knew of at that time. I have since found a little back entrance that I've been using that doesn't have the cameras. So so Flock Safety put up cameras all over our town. There are 172 cameras in Norfolk. Two citizens have since sued the city because they implemented these cameras with no policy or plan in place. They just put them up. And when the police chief was interviewed about it, about 6 weeks after they'd been implemented, they asked about a policy, a data plan or policy, and he said, "Oh, we're writing one." So these cameras were implemented for at least a couple months. It looks like, according to court documents, 4 months. They were actively being used with no data policy or plan in place at all. Then, July of last year, the state of Virginia made a law about how long these license plate reading cameras can keep your data, which is 30 days. And the lawsuit has commenced. Unfortunately, it's not going in our favor. It's been ruled that this is not a violation of the Fourth Amendment right to warrantless surveillance, and that law enforcement can deploy these without notifying citizens. So that's where we are on the camera front. Obviously, I've set up like Google alerts and stuff like that to see if anything breaks or is announced with the flock cameras in Norfolk, and there hasn't been anything since October the 18th. So anyway, I go home yesterday and I come into the neighborhood. So I do enter the neighborhood through the front sort of gates of the neighborhood, which is where the cameras are. And I pull up in my driveway and I'm texting my son, and I look out my driver's side window and I see above the tree lines 3 drones just rise out of the tree line. And I was like, you got to be fucking kidding me, because I had a pretty good idea of what they were. So I got out of the car and I started recording, and I zoomed in, and to my eye, I've studied this flock stuff for a long time, for months and months now, and I've seen the drones that they build, and they absolutely look like the flock drones have a little red light on one light, green light on the other. The design is a little bit distinct. So to me, they look like flock cameras. And so I had a little bit of a freak out, obviously, if this company is sending drones that just happen to appear over the trees by my house. It was a little bit alarming, for sure.
Yeah, I could see how that would be super alarming. Like, I'm gonna play the video again, but without any sound, so maybe there won't be any echo this time. At least for everybody else, these are 3 flock security drones just flying over. Warrantless surveillance is what that is. I want to know, how did they rule that it was not a violation of the Fourth Amendment? Like, in
Because they're
warrantless surveillance.
essentially saying that their license plate readers, which are the same thing that have been authorized for use before, because when you drive your car on the road, there is not a presumption of privacy. So
Yeah.
my issue with this, and the reason that I think we need younger people in office, because 80-year-olds that don't know how to attach a PDF to an email are making legislation about very sophisticated technology. So in my opinion, as someone who was an IT in the Navy, and I don't know, I feel like has a little bit of common sense, you should legislate on the potential of a software. And Flock is far beyond a simple license plate reader. This is not the same type of hardware that they have at the Easy Pass for your tolls, or a traffic cam. The capabilities is what we should be legislating to, not the current use. Because
Yeah.
right now, we essentially have law enforcement saying, basically, trust me, bro. That's from all law enforcement, from federal, state, local. What civilians are getting is, trust me, bro. We're not going to use these in a way to track people, even though it's being proven all the way over, all over the country, that they are using them in this way. Law enforcement officers have used them to harass and stalk ex-wives and ex-girlfriends. They have used them across state lines to track a woman having an abortion. So, yeah, they're clearly using them in ways that they are telling civilians that they're not. So right now, we have courts that are essentially passing judgments on what law enforcement is telling them their current use is. So they are permitting the use of these cameras because law enforcement is Boy Scout oathing that they're not going to do anything inappropriate with them. And the way they're currently being used is the way they're always going to be used into the future. And we all know that's insanity. You cannot legislate on any software based on its current use and not look at and consider its full capabilities. And the capabilities of Flock is absolutely a mass surveillance state. They're kind of beyond the point of denying that at this time because they have Ring cameras feeding in now. So obviously Ring cameras weren't built to be license plate readers.
And definitely definitely not license plate readers when you're flying in the air and you're capturing entire swaths of area, and it's less like it is real-time recording. Like these things are real-time capturing data and metadata and attaching things, and they're picking up incidental people who don't have anything to do with this information, and that gets added into the data points and correlated with other people and other things, because guess what? You don't have any privacy rights, apparently.
Right.
Like we don't have the right, apparently the right to unlawful search and seizure is not a thing. Like, because the police have said, like you said, trust me, bro, which is not a good like way to deal with policing is trust me, bro, because that person isn't trustworthy unless they're regulated. Like regulations are a good thing, and especially in these places. And I like what you said about like we have people who can't attach PDFs to email trying to regulate the rise of the drone state and drone technology that is doing mass surveillance and data aggregation on a global scale to track people person by person. Individual personal tracking state surveillance. Like that's what it is. And yeah, forever data doesn't go away. They just they do what's called pseudonymization or de-anonymized, or they anonymize data, but anonymized and pseudonymized data can be linked back to the original data source at some point. Like these data points are not anonymous. And they're being aggregated to create a social credit score or a social score of some sort in the surveillance state. And if your social score is low, like you're a brown person who happens to kind of look Hispanic in any way, like that's their goal right now, is if you kind of look Hispanic in any way, you're automatically part of the surveillance state. You're being surveilled. And I think I'm glad that you're bringing this forward and that you saw this and captured it. And I do think that regulations are going to be key to all of this, yet they're not going to happen right now. Like we're at the age where technology needs smart people, and we have the most legacy people in place when we need them gone.
Right. So as an example of the trust me, bro, in the court case, which is still ongoing, they have promised this judge that this is how they're going to use the equipment. And further, they put up a transparency page for Norfolk, Virginia on the Flock site that tells you everything about the cameras and everything. And even from the court documents I've seen from downloading the docket to what they have on this transparency page, they're using some very imaginative language choices to essentially lie to the public about what they are actually doing with these cameras based on what I've actually seen in the court docket and the documents that they've shared with the court. So they've said, we're going to be completely transparent, whatever. So I was like, okay, in the spirit of transparency, if you have drones here now, you should have that on your transparency page, right? So I go over to it this afternoon or yesterday afternoon, and no. And I look for any news alert. I look for anything at my city council, my city website. I scour to see if they have announced to the public that they have now received their Flock drones and are using them. And there's nothing. There's no announcement, nothing.
Yeah. And so drones too, typically, especially those types of drones, are supposed to be FAA registered. Um, and they are supposed to have flight plans and have to have specific permits for flight space, especially around military bases. And if Flock is just getting free reign to fly drones wherever the fuck they want, anywhere near a military base, that's a national security threat right there. Because they're then tracking and categorizing the movements of soldiers and sailors and Marines. And that's a national security threat because a private entity is now capturing all this data and tracking illegally soldiers, sailors, Marines, anyone who lives in that town, tracking illegally. But the danger around a military base and a military installation is super high when you have drones like this. If they're not going to put flight plans of any sort out there, because what happens if somebody takes a drone, puts lights on it that looks similar enough to a Flock security drone, and flies
Right.
it over the Navy base and starts taking pictures? Or does what happened in Russia, where they put a bunch of drones into trucks and train freight and then launch a surprise attack on a base? Because you're so used to now just seeing random ass fucking drones flying everywhere. Guess what? One of those drones is not going to be friendly.
Right.
And we have airspace rules over Norfolk, Virginia for a reason. Like, there are very strict airspace rules. And I'd love to know if there were any airspace violations there, because if there were, I think we have an avenue to take them on in a legal sense to protect the city and the citizens, is figure out how we can take them on from there as a group, because we can't have drones flying that close to military installations without any proof of why they're there. Like, counterintelligence threat 101. I worked with the counterintel guys when I was in the Army. Counterintel 101 is basically mimic what the good guys are doing and do it for nefarious purposes, like fly drones right near Norfolk, Virginia, to capture all this information about soldiers, sailors, Marines, and their habits, their movements, the base's habits and movements, ingress, egress routes, all
Right.
of it. Who's getting that data? Who is Flock Safety selling that data to?
Right.
And if they don't have a flight plan, they better have a good explanation, because I think we could take them to court for something like that.
I checked all the websites that I could find that would have flight plans, that would have FAA, um, any type of activity, and I saw that, like, there is nothing on the on the web that I could find as to why those 3 drones were outside my house.
Yeah, yeah, and like, we need to fight that. We need to fight that by lawsuits. Like Chris Goldsmith, a friend of ours, another veteran who does a lot of work, who is like literally a Nazi hunter, what had the idea of sue these people into oblivion. Like, they do illegal shit, sue them. And so, if we're illegally flying drones without FAA licenses or flight plans or registrations and then not putting it out there, well, okay. Well, then I guess we have grounds for a lawsuit. And Melissa and I may start having to talk to a lawyer about what we can do to help the citizens in Norfolk specifically, but everyone else around here too. Because fuck that. Like, do you really want a drone following you everywhere you go? Do you want your own little personal drone tracking everything you do and everywhere you go, and having them say it's okay because your data is theirs for whatever they want and whatever purposes? Um, I don't. I don't want that. I don't want drones flying over Norfolk that could potentially be a bomb, a kamikaze drone that would attack the base. I don't want to see our sailors and service members hurt. Um, and so this is scary as shit. Like, this should be headlines: is flock safety flying unregistered drones over Norfolk, Virginia, near the military base, near a naval station.
Right.
Unregistered drones flying near a naval station in Norfolk, Virginia. That should be one of the biggest stories out there. And it's not, because the only two who know about it, other than, well, the only two who did know about it until now are you and me.
Yeah.
But now all of you know. So put it out there. Talk about it. Make it a big story. And we're going to, yeah. Someone asked in the chat, do you have the Norfolk, Virginia case number so we can follow it?
I do. Let me find out.
Great question, American citizen. Thank you for asking that. Also, thank you everyone for joining in on the chat with us today. Appreciate all the really good questions. Thank you for the feedback and how and the interaction. Like, this is what we really like, this type of interaction, and want this and encourage it. It helps us keep our communication on like focus, but we also really I enjoy answering questions to make sure y'all can know that you are part of this conversation too, and the engagement. I had some questions answered this morning on a show. I jumped in just on a live just to hang out in the chat. So it's really fun to do that and be able to get that. And the more eyes on these cases, the better. Like, if you want to start researching these cases too and things like that, or getting information to us, because Melissa and I are busy as shit. Like, we've got a lot going on. But if you guys are willing to support us and say, hey, we know this law we could look into, or we know a lawyer who could look into the legal side for you, or help us, or be willing to work with us, or if you are a lawyer who wants to work with us on something like this or things like this, yes, please. I want all the support we can. And because we have to build a coalition together here, and quickly. And the more we can break this information out, the better. Because then more people know to look in the sky for drones that should not be there. And Melissa, you just dropped a link in the chat.
I just dropped, so you get breaking news times 2 today. Here is our 1A collective, very basic website. All we have up right now is a contact form. We're in the process of installing a community forum there. But what's going to be on there in a few days we're uploading is that whole court docket. So the 1AC collective website is based off United States soil. So that website can never be censored or taken down. So we're going to be putting up the whole docket of the Norfolk flock case. As it stands now, there may be new documents in the future if we decide to add on to this court case. If I contact the Institute for Justice, who is the attorneys that are representing the plaintiffs, and let them know that I have a video of flock drones now outside my house, then maybe they will be interested to add that to this existing case.
Oh, I would absolutely be interested in seeing how that could be added in. And for anyone who wants to, please scan the link, go to the 1A Collective, join us and use your voice. It is free to be a part of. Melissa is incredible for the work that she's doing on this. Like, when we say during shows like, hey, we're doing a lot in the background, there's some really cool stuff coming up, this is one of them. This is one of them. Is Melissa has been putting together this incredible place that we can freely and uncensored put out truth, because that's really what we need. We're fighting a disinformation war and a information and technology war, and the best way to fight back is our voice, and without censorship. And so help us go check out the 1A Collective. We will absolutely have this in the link for the show notes. This will probably become one of our permanent footer links for all of our, or permanent like show note stuff that we add into all of our post shows. So you can always click on it, see what's there. But yeah,
just
I'd love to be able
contact form for now. That's like really all we have right now that is interactive is the contact form. So fill it out. So we, you get on our radar. We've got your email address and we can update you as we roll out the features of the site.
Yeah, and the 1A Collective too is independent of our Substack. So we would have your emails through the 1A Collective. They would not be coming straight to Banner and Backbone. Like we wouldn't
Right.
be adding them into our subscriber base unless people are willing to have that as a function, is to be able to like join the 1A Collective, and as a benefit you join these other networks as part of that. Is you're added into some amazing groups, maybe like Centered America, or Banner and Backbone, for where you get your news out of the 1A Collective, maybe is Banner and Backbone. Where do you get your organizing and information, and how to do local engagement? Maybe that's through Centered America. And it's all homed in 1A Collective. Melissa has some great ideas out here with this, and I'm so freaking excited to see where we can actually start taking this in the direction, because we've been talking about uncensored, easy to access free information for a while now.
Yes.
And it feels really nice to be able to say it's almost here.
Almost. Yes.
Yeah, and use your geodata. I saw that in the chat too. Is absolutely when you go to submit this, and if there's any lawyers too that want to help us outside of this and things like that, feel free to contact us. We'd love support in any way we can, because we want to stop the drone state from becoming a thing, and surveillance state from becoming our everyday life. Like, I don't want to live in Minority Report. I don't think any of you do either. And that's what this will become.
No, I don't want drones outside my house. Oh my God. I
No.
I did not like that experience.
No, that seemed awful. Like, you messaged me and my heart sank, and I was like, oh shit, somebody's getting picked up by ICE or something like that, and they're now testing out tracking
I don't think it was,
and surveillance.
I don't think it's any coincidence that ICE was first, a major ICE presence was also first seen in Hampton Roads, here in the Western Branch region of Chesapeake. There was a roadblock that was set up by ICE that apparently, from what I've heard, is very near to a new residential development that's being built. So I guess they're trying to scoop up those construction workers, which all I can hear city council talk about is how we need more affordable housing. We need housing, but you're going to let them go scoop up the guys building the houses. I mean, make that fucking make sense.
Yep. Yeah. Like, you people are sorry, Matt. Not sorry. You people are dumb. Like, stop.
Yeah.
Stop hurting yourselves. It's stupid. Like, you're no person left behind. And Flock is purposely leaving people and targeting people to be left behind. And this is a whole predictive profiling system that they're putting together. Flock Safety is the next step. Is Peter Thiel wants to buy it and fold it into Palantir, which is a data aggregation and human identification system that does one thing and one thing really well: intelligence collection and data aggregation. That's it. That's what it does really well. And it creates a predictive profile and will tell tell them, Peter Thiel specifically, and whoever's in his little oligarchy circle of weird pedophiles, they'll have access to where you are whenever they want.
The best part about these drones,
the pedophiles have access to where we are, wherever they want, whenever they want.
That was the worst part, was because, like, I understand that I've been writing about it and covering this for many months. But like, man, my kids live here. Like, that's not cool. You want to surveil me, that's one thing, but like, my kids is truly different, like whole different ball game. So that's but something interesting about these Flock cameras that they literally brag about on their website, the capabilities of these cameras. They say on their website, old in using old drones, which I don't know who the fuck they thought was using drones prior to them for regular law enforcement in cities, but they said, unlike other drones where a field officer has to come out and manipulate the drone, these don't do that at all. You can set trigger points. So if the person that you're seeking to track crosses one of the cameras, the drone will automatically take off of its little pad and launch itself and deploy itself in pursuit of the target without you even having to get a human being involved. If that's not really frightening to everybody that they have circumvented human involvement entirely, and they are trying to tell us this is a good thing, and
It's
oh,
not.
calm down. No
Has
way, man.
anyone seen Terminator?
Terminator,
Played
like
the video game Horizon Zero
iRobot.
Dawn.
I mean,
Um,
when you're just giving machines capability to deploy themselves, what?
and they want to install, like, Palantir wants to be able to install automated turrets on the borders,
Mm-hmm.
which would be
Yes,
used through AI and predictive profiling without a human intervention. Like,
right.
that is Skynet. That is
Mm-hmm.
drone swarms are a bad thing. Like, drone
Right.
swarms that launch themselves are a bad thing. ICE is buying guided missile systems.
And
Internal
ICE is
police forces,
using ICE is
drones.
accessing. They have evidence of this in several cities now, including here in Hampton Roads, that ICE has accessed Flock, which Flock also promised wouldn't happen.
And ICE also has that juicy contract with Palantir to build their surveillance technology. So
Exactly.
we're going to be on this again. We're going to continue talking on this on Flock Safety. We'll have Melissa on again soon. Sorry, on for another Palin talk with Shane Urich and myself, to continue this discussion in depth more and see where we can also assist in and do other research for all of this and how we can help. But I don't want to hold too long. We've been here for just over half an hour. I said we're going to keep it right to about the half-hour mark. Melissa, I want to let you close out the discussion to sell yourself before I do my little quick pitches too. But I'm going to first start again. I'm going to pull up the incredible new QR code that we have for the 1A Collective, separate from all of us,
Yes.
well, separate from Banner and Backbone, but highly promoted, free speech space, no censorship. Melissa, can you talk about the 1A Collective real quick again, and
I'm so
then sell
excited.
yourself?
We're building out this platform. Again, it is hosted internationally in a nation that doesn't extradite or share information with the United States. So hop on there and fill out the contact form just so we get your emails on a list and get that going so we can send out updates. We're going to be adding an old school chat forum just for starters to get everybody a place to chat that's not on a billionaire owned platform that is located in America. So at first, it's going to feel pretty 90s ish. Actually, we're going to go back to chat rooms and stuff for a while we build out. So I've got one developer that's working her hiney off, and anyone who has those type of skills that would like to volunteer to help as we build out. The sky's the limit with this platform. It's going to become as robust as we need it to become, and if it needs to become another social media type space, then we'll work in that direction. But my main concern is that you can artists and writers and creatives and journalists can have a place to get their content onto this platform that is not related to some billionaire. It is a citizen owned, for citizens by citizens place. So definitely check that out and get on that list. And otherwise, keep tuning in. I mean, we keep circling back to this Flock thing. They keep pulling me in, but I think I'm going to have probably a more substantial update because I do think I'm going to email that video to the attorneys that are
I
hearing
think
this
you
case
should. Absolutely.
and see if they'd be interested in adding this information to the existing lawsuit, because drones weren't on the table, y'all. We weren't even talking about drones, and here they are. So at the very least, this federal judge needs to be made aware that this is now happening.
Yeah, Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And to help support that, please become a paid or free subscriber to Melissa on Counterstory Media, and help her work grow. She is doing some incredible work. This research on the ground reporting in DC of the ongoing sit in and sustained engagement movements, fact checking ourselves and double checking our resources and who we are willing to partner with and work with, and getting great advice from friends, to expose the truth and learn more and ask questions where they're needed. Melissa is building the counter story that's important. And the 1A Collective is a part of it, separate from Substack. But Counter Story Media helps feed Melissa's family. So help feed her family and
Yeah.
help her get out to be able to do more stuff. The publication, the subscriptions and stuff, they help her get to DC. They help her get to
Mhm.
on the ground reporting, and then they help her get it out here to us for free. She gives it to free for everybody to be able
Yep.
to read.
Always free,
So
nothing paywalled.
yeah, we're bad capitalists, as Waj would say, is
Yeah.
we don't paywall anything. The only paywall I have is on my chat right now for like starting new threads.
Mhm.
Um, and so come join me at Sick of This Shit Publications. You do have to pay to chat in the threads for the chat section, but I don't hide any of the actual information and stuff that I create and promote and put out there. So come join me at Sick of This Shit Publications. It's my other home. And that helps feed my family too, because I'm on a fixed income, and y'all are helping me build businesses. And then, of course, come support Banner and Backbone itself. We are growing rapidly. You're going to see an amazing new show today on November 13th. Just so everybody knows the date for when people watch this again and go, why isn't there a cool, amazing new show right after this? There's going to be an amazing new show tonight, November 13th, with Melissa Corrigan and Shane Urich, The Rant Act, as they launch their new show on Banner and Backbone this afternoon at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. It's going to be so much fun because first they rant and then they act. And so look out for that tonight on Banner and Backbone as we launch a full new show tonight with Melissa and Shane
Excited.
Urich. It's going to be so freaking cool.
Yeah.
Come support us. Come support the network, free and paid. Share, do all the cool things. Thank you for everyone who's here with us. We appreciate all of you. Go take some action. Go call your senators, your representatives. Demand that Trump be removed or resign for being a pedophile and in the pedo files, and have them released. And demand transparency on the drone state and the surveillance state. And we're going to continue updating y'all on that. So stay tuned. Thanks for everyone who's joining us today. Melissa, thank you so much for some time and getting to talk to you on our Vet Talk today. I'll see you again soon. We'll try and do another one of these next week, like we always. We try and do quite a bit. Maybe we'll talk Venezuela next week because things are going sideways as always there, because now we have the USS Gerald Ford. Not cool. But yeah.
And I'll see you tomorrow at our weekly book club.
Yep. And join us tomorrow, 11/14 at 12:30 Eastern, 11:30 a.m. Central, for Banner and Backbone's Anti-Fascist Book Club, where we're nearing the end of our discussion on tyranny. And we're going to be joined by our incredible crew, as always, with myself, Melissa Corrigan, Chris Goldsmith, Stephanie Wilson, Tara Devlin. Did I miss anybody who normally shows up with us? Oh, and I invited Evan Fields as well, from the Lincoln Square and News Underground, or News from Underground. I like Evan a lot. He's got some cool ideas. So thanks, everyone. Have a great afternoon. Stay tuned for tonight and enjoy Melissa and Shane as they open up the Rant Act.
As we get rowdy.
Y'all.